Can you believe it? A shocking 90% of you are watching. Yet that subscribe button remains untouched. A change is upon us. Your support means everything. Subscribe and give us a thumbs up to stand with us on this journey. Your voice matters to us. Drop your city in the comments. We want to feel the pulse of where you're connecting from. Today we dive into a story filled with shocking betrayal. It started with a small detail, a tiny imperfection, just a burn mark. While folding the laundry in the living room, my eyes caught a glimpse of it, resting just above the pocket of my silk robe, a small, dark mark, singed and fragile at the edges, hauntingly similar to a cigarette burn. I stared at it, confusion washing over me, quickly followed by irritation. I have never smoked, and the smell has always repulsed me. My husband feels the same way, if not more strongly. He once despised it. How did my robe end up with a cigarette burn? I traced the fabric with my fingers, yearning to uncover its secrets. It might have happened at the laundromat. Maybe it originated from the iron. Or maybe it was something completely different, anything at all. Yet, I felt deep down that the burn was no accident, and then an odd thought flickered through my mind, something out of the ordinary. Returning home early from work last week, I caught a faint whiff of smoke in the air. It wasn't strong or refreshing. It felt tired, as if someone had tried to breathe life into it once more. I asked my husband, Adrian, about the issue. He let out a soft laugh, suggesting it might have drifted in from next door. In that instant, I surrendered my trust to him. What reason could I possibly have to hold back? In this moment, that small burn echoed, a puzzle piece locking into place with haunting clarity. Still, I hesitated to jump to any conclusions. I decided to let it go. But then our parrot spoke a phrase that shattered everything we knew. His name is Echo, a rescue who entered my life long before I said, "I do" to Adrian. He never stops, his voice reverberating through every corner of our home. As dawn broke the next morning, I poured a steaming cup of coffee, and Echo's cheerful chirp pierced the silence from his cage. "Nam, your scent is absolutely delightful, darling." I froze, engulfed in disbelief, though I kept it hidden. Adrian had kept it from me, no doubt. Echo's voice pierced the air again, growing louder. "Your scent is absolutely delightful, darling." He responded with a soft, breathy chuckle, a sound that was undeniably masculine. My hand shook violently, sending a torrent of coffee crashing onto the counter. My stomach dropped like a stone. Echo doesn't weave tales. He mirrors, revealing the presence of another in this home. A man spoke those exact words again and again. Echo clung to the memory as thoughts crashed through my mind like a storm. No male visitors are here. Adrian has a few friends, but their visits are rare when I'm not around, except for one. As the night deepened, a tight knot of anticipation coiled within me, longing for Adrian to come home. I held my tongue. I watched him closely. The soft touch of his lips on my cheek revealed the weight of his exhaustion from the day. His smile, that unmistakable one he always gave me, held a depth that lingered in the air. Yet, in that moment, it felt hollow. As he slipped into sleep, I found myself drawn to his car, compelled to examine it closely. Never before had I crossed the line into snooping. I had always doubted its importance, but a deep, insistent voice within me demanded my focus. In the rear compartment, hidden between the cushions, I found it. A dwindling pack of cigarettes lay in Adrian's hand, yet he resisted the urge to smoke. The next morning, I faced him, heart racing yet composed. "Has anyone experienced a journey in your car recently?" He raised his eyes from the glow of his phone's screen. "What is happening?" A pack of cigarettes rested abandoned in the back seat. He blinked, each slow movement heavy with unspoken weight. "Ah, yes, that has to be Dylan. Last week, I extended an invitation for a ride." I noted that Dylan refrains from smoking. In the silence, he offered a subtle shrug. Maybe it was someone else entirely. I can't remember, but I nodded in recognition. But beneath the surface, I sensed his betrayal. 2 more days slipped by, heavy with expectation. I opened the home security app. I almost forgot about the cameras set up outside. It stood there, a haunting presence, 3 nights ago. The soft hum of Adrian's car slicing through the evening silence sent a shiver down her spine. The passenger door bursts open and a woman emerges, her presence electrifying the air. She slips into one of my robes. The fabric clings to my skin as she leans in, her lips meeting his in a breathless moment. A kiss that lingers, heavy with meaning. With a soft kiss, they cross the threshold, united in a moment that felt electric. The place we refer to as our outhouse. Breath slipped away as I listened again and again, each time seeking clarity in the haunting echoes. In the stillness of that night, silence wrapped around me, and I opted for silence. As I sat across from him at dinner, I couldn't help but notice how he chewed, completely unfazed by everything that had happened. As if he wasn't ripping apart our lives while I turned away. The next day I followed him closely, calling in to say I was unwell. I trailed 2 cars behind him, weaving through the town and plunging into an unknown residential maze. He slid his vehicle into the driveway, coming to a halt, walked slowly to the door, and she answered, full of life. Radiant locks of gold. In her mid-20s she laughed, a sound that seemed to cast off the world's burdens. She wrapped him tightly in her arms. I pressed my lips to his neck, freezing the moment in my mind, just one, and embarked on the journey back home. As darkness enveloped the world, I stood on edge, heart racing, waiting for Adrian to come back. The photo lies on the table, a silent witness to memories captured in time. He stared at it, his face losing all hue. I kept my voice steady. I held my ground. I simply asked, how long? He sat down, the weight of the moment heavy in the air. Could it have been a mistake? A soft laugh slipped from my mouth, a mistake that lingered through countless nights. He buried his face in his hands. I never meant for it to spiral out of control like that. But you brought her into our home, I said. She slipped into my clothes, the fabric that wraps around my essence. Our bed, a refuge of solace. He started to cry, pleading, please don't leave me alone. I stood up. You have already left my life, Adrian. With a gentle touch, you crossed into a new realm, abandoning all that once was. The next morning, I collected my things. Echo received. Robbed me of who I am, freed from the lies that once held me captive. But walking away was not the end. It really never is it? I thought that once I closed the door, freedom would engulf me, lifted higher. Still, I sat in my car for 20 long minutes, my hands clenched around the steering wheel, knuckles turning ghostly white. I stared at our house, tears streaming down my face, as if grieving a deep, unshakable sorrow. Something had indeed changed, the horizon now beckoning us forward. Our trust in each other. I thought I grasped the essence of Adrian. The first night alone was the hardest to endure. I lingered at a friend's home for a while. Lena, my college confidant. She held me close, her embrace a silent acknowledgement of the weight I carried. I laid bare my soul to her. Her silence lingered, heavy and profound. She took in the words, each one striking deep. She poured the wine, filling our glasses with a quiet tension. You didn't deserve that, she said, her voice trembling with raw emotion. Your love for him consumed you entirely. In that instant, anguish pierced my heart. My love for him was real. A love that captures the dawn's whisper and the night's quarrels, embracing unvoiced flaws that linger within. I stood by him through job losses, his mother's fight against cancer, and our devastating miscarriages, and this is how he chose to repay my loyalty. In the days that followed, Adrian reached out, his message delivered. Silence hung heavy. He captured his thoughts in voice notes. Each voice rose, filled with mounting urgency. I aired. Your absence haunts my mind. I welcomed the chance to talk, but what is there truly to say? Every word he spoke was laced with poison, resonating painfully in my ears. Healing unfolds in twists and turns, never a simple road. There were days when I replayed every moment, questioning if I could have taken another path if I had only seen the signs. The weight of failure hung heavy in my thoughts, a haunting reminder that was more than enough. On a still evening, I found myself adrift in a tide of faded memories captured in old photographs. The day we became one, fleeting moments of freedom, the haunting images of us in the stillness of night. I remembered the times our laughter rang out, leaving us gasping, our bellies tight with happiness. Once his embrace wrapped me in security, yet I despised the ache of missing him. To miss someone and to need them are two profoundly different feelings. 3 weeks after I left, a message came through from a number I didn't recognize. It was her, unmistakably. I had no idea he was married. I'm sorry I ended it. My hands trembled, filled with doubt. She sent a screenshot, revealing that Adrian had told her I left him because of our differences. It was clear that we hadn't felt close in years. We were, in essence, sharing our lives as if we were roommates. He told her I was so consumed by my career that I couldn't be a real wife. I nearly threw my phone against the wall. In that moment, I realized he was not just disloyal, he was a master of deception, a true architect of persuasion. He built a false reality tangled in deception, not just with her, but with me too. What was the reason behind it all? Is it a yearning for the intoxicating thrill of being wanted? To uplift one's sense of self-value? Then the tears stopped falling. Something within me hardened, not with resentment, but with a piercing clarity. My essence has shattered its boundaries. A new apartment awaits, a pottery class beckons, and therapy has begun. I aim not just to survive, but to rebuild from the ashes. To rediscover my identity beyond being Adrian's wife. Are you ready for a revelation? A smile graces my lips once more. Genuinely. I stepped out with friends, surrendering to the beat, oblivious to how I looked. I remembered who I was before he came into my life. Bold, playful, independent. Her absence clung to me, a haunting ache that refused to fade. 2 months passed, and then Adrian stood at my door. He looked more gaunt, weariness carved into his face, the weight of his actions finally pressing down on him. He revealed that he has been going to counseling. I have cut all connections with her. I am striving to change. I stood at the doorway, arms crossed, heart racing. I shared my joy for you, but I will not come back. His eyes locked onto mine, a storm of confusion swirling within them, as if my words danced just out of reach. He thought that with enough apologies, I would eventually give in and return to him. Do you ever ache for me to be near? He asked. A bittersweet smile tugged at my lips. I ache for the person you used to be, he cried. This time I held back. Closure rarely comes neatly packaged. Sometimes it means realizing that you are stronger and more complete without the person who inflicted your pain. 8 months have slipped away. I sink into a deep sleep, laughter spilling from my lips. Once again, I discover the strength within me. Maybe one day, I will learn to trust again. For now, I am on a journey to find wholeness within myself. After Adrian left my doorstep, I stood there for a long time, staring at the closed door. I expected to feel victorious, a rush of strength, but instead I was met with a deep void. Not from regret over my decision. I held on to that belief with every fiber of my being. But a deep sorrow shadows me. A haunting reminder of betrayal. Feels empty. It feels devoid of any tension. In the quiet, a heavy silence lingers, like stepping into a home that once thrived with life, now reduced to haunting whispers of its former self. Still, I pushed forward. On weekends, I began volunteering at a local shelter, a longing that had simmered within me, unfulfilled throughout my marriage. It's striking how the presence of the wrong person can drain your energy and erode your identity. One afternoon, as I sifted through donated clothes, I met Tessa, a single mother who had fled an abusive relationship, desperately trying to rebuild her life. Amidst the fabric of folded jeans, we wove a bond, exchanging stories steeped in heartbreak. She looked deep into my eyes and said, "You don't appear to be someone who's known brokenness." A soft laugh escaped me. I masked it with precision. "No," she said, her voice steady yet heavy with unspoken weight. "You seem to have faced a break and come out stronger on the other side." Their echo haunted my thoughts. Maybe I was piecing it together bit by bit. Weeks slipped by, and Lena urged me to accompany her to a spoken word night at a charming coffee shop nestled in downtown. I almost turned my back completely. Interactions were laced with an unsettling tension. Still, a soft whisper inside me compelled me to seize life again. That is where our fates intertwined, Eli. It was there that I met Eli. He delivered a poem about loss, not the romantic kind, but the profound experience of losing oneself in another. Every word echoed with profound clarity. After the performance, we sat across from each other, hot chocolate warming our hands, exchanging stories stripped of pretense, revealing raw, unfiltered truths. For 5 agonizing years, he suffered betrayal from one who drained his very essence, reducing him to a mere echo of who he once was. We spoke in a language woven from pain and resilience. That night, we missed the chance to exchange numbers, leaving behind only a fragile connection that echoed softly in the silence. A week later, he stepped into the shelter, eager to volunteer. Was it just coincidence, or was there something deeper at play? Indifference faded as a smile broke through, a moment of lightness unburdened by the shadow of betrayal. Let me be clear. This story isn't about finding love in someone else. It's about fully accepting who I am. In the end, Eli stood as a friend, a refuge, a proof that good men truly exist. Meanwhile, Adrian continued to emerge sporadically in my digital world. Amidst the sporadic messages, haunting memories surfaced. Emails revealed his heart, filled with longing words like, "I miss what we had, and you'll always be my one true love." Each sentiment cut deep, echoing the love we once shared. Yet, nostalgia lies, for the truth is he never yearned for me at all. He yearned for the image of himself that shone brightly beside me. The unwavering, devoted husband, the man with a faithful wife, he craved the facade. I stopped responding to his messages. Every word I once held vanished into silence. One fateful night, months later, I stumbled upon his sister, Julia, in the grocery store. The encounter took me by surprise. She held me tightly, her voice trembling as she whispered, "I'm sorry. I've always condemned his choices. Yet he saw you as the most precious blessing life had given him." It hit me harder than I ever expected. She disclosed that Adrian had discovered someone new, a rapid romance that had flourished in merely 6 weeks, and they were already contemplating the idea of cohabitation eternal. He jumps from one soft refuge to another, escaping the confrontation with his own emptiness. That night, no tears fell. I stared out the window, echo curled at my feet, and thought, thank God I walked away. If I had stayed, I would have poured my life into proving my worth to someone who didn't deserve it. Betrayal cuts deep, shattering you, but it sharpens your perspective like nothing else. Slowly, the innocent colors of red flags surface from your memory, exposing the hidden compromises, the silencing of your own voice, and the times you dimmed your light to let theirs shine brighter. That autumn, I reached a breaking point and set off on my first solo journey, a thrilling adventure to Italy. I wandered the cobblestone streets, relished espresso in charming cafes, and watched the sunset from a peaceful rooftop in Florence. In that moment, solitude embraced me, but it was liberation, not loneliness, that surged through my veins. I dove into the world of cooking and found my strength in boxing through intense classes. I set out to create a blog about healing after infidelity, and it took off faster than I ever imagined. Many women seem to echo my own experiences, stories that demand to be heard. One day, an email landed in my inbox, not from Adrian, but from Sienna, the other woman, once again. This time, she stood resolute, offering no apologies. Her frustrations poured out, raw and unfiltered. It hit her hard. Adrian had lied. He had promised her a future, all while still entangled in his past, pretending to be free when he was anything but. Then, 2 months in, he started to fade away, pulling back, twisting her reality. She wrote, "I thought he had changed, but he only shifted." Faces, I decided to remain silent. It felt completely pointless. Her words confirmed the truth I had always known deep down. People cling to their habits until the spark of change ignites within them. Still, some decide against it. A year has vanished into the past. I have found refuge in a charming little house, its white walls and wide windows inviting light, yet it feels hauntingly empty of any presence. My mornings awaken in a serene embrace. I create. I lead Echo out for a walk. I immerse myself in the powerful craft of creating music. I talk to my plants. I am not alone. I am whole. Eli, we are bound together, slowly and gently, without definitions, just cherishing our respect and the joy we find in each other's laughter. Maybe it will transform into something extraordinary. Maybe not. No matter what happens, I feel a profound sense of calm within. I have stopped seeking another to complete my life. I am complete as I am, If I could reach back to my past self, curled on the bathroom floor, heart in pieces, I would share just one truth. You will persevere. You will thrive. Rise to greatness. This pain does not mark the end. This is a turning point. What happens now? I now live as though I've been granted a second chance at life. Spring's arrival unleashed a whirlwind of gentle breezes as cherry blossoms swirled in a breathtaking dance just outside my window. It held deep meaning. A new beginning, endless possibilities lie ahead. On a still afternoon, as I nurtured a struggling plant on my porch, a familiar car suddenly appeared. Adrian. He stepped forward, holding a small box delicately in his hands. I stood frozen, waiting for the moment to strike. Emma, he whispered, climbing the steps with a heavy heart. I know my presence might not be desired, but I felt compelled to return some of your belongings I found in storage. I nodded, just a fraction, but it spoke volumes. Allow it to unfold. He placed the box down, lingering as if he craved something just out of reach. Your presence radiates calmness. After years of silence, I finally declare I exist. He looked down, then locked his eyes with mine again. I have faltered. I feel adrift, lost in a sea of uncertainty. I have shattered everything that was once beautiful in my life. I took a deep breath, a wave of calm and steadiness enveloping me. Adrian, I have accepted what happened. There's no need for apologies. I feel neither hatred nor love for you. No more. His eyes overflowed with tears, but I stood firm. I kept comfort at bay. I owed him nothing. I shared my wish that you would find what you long for. He nodded, a wave of despair crashing over him, and walked away. I watched as his vehicle